This guy showed up at the airport, totally pumped. He was planning to surprise his best buddy who'd just come back home. But the second he turned around, he spotted his girlfriend of years, right there. She was standing on her tiptoes, eyes locked on the arrivals exit. The look on her face, pure, desperate anticipation. But what happened next hit him like a gut punch. His best friend walked out of the arrivals gate, and his girlfriend bolted straight toward him. The second they met, they pulled each other into a tight embrace, completely unbothered by everyone around them. And the worst part? It kept getting worse. Right there in public, his buddy yanked a can tab off a soda can and dropped to one knee, proposing to his girlfriend. He figured she'd shut that nonsense down in a heartbeat. But he never could have guessed. Her heart had already checked out a long time ago, completely consumed by the thrill. She didn't even care about the cheap makeshift ring. She said yes with a huge smile on her face. In that moment, he wanted to rush over and pull her away, but his legs felt like they were filled with concrete. He was completely frozen, couldn't move an inch. His girlfriend and his best friend, the two people he trusted most, had just stabbed him in the back, like two ice-cold knives, driving straight through his heart. The pain was overwhelming, spreading through his entire body. His throat locked up. He couldn't make a single sound. That's when his girlfriend's best friend randomly noticed him standing there and froze, her face full of panic, not knowing whether to stop the couple or just let it play out. But by then, the guy had completely given up. He didn't walk over, didn't say a word. Eyes red, he just silently turned around and walked away. The moment he stepped out of the terminal, he couldn't hold it together anymore. The pain tearing through his chest was unbearable. He broke down crying, stumbling his way back home. A stark contrast to that couple still wrapped up in their thrill back inside. Cold rain hammered down on the pavement, but it couldn't drown out the sound of him completely falling apart inside. Memories flashed through his mind like a slideshow on overdrive. Young love back in high school, leaning on each other through college, grinding side by side when they first started working. 12 full years together, every single moment crystal clear. He'd always thought they'd eventually get married, spend their whole lives together. But he never imagined she would betray him like this, running straight into his best friend's arms. Past the despair, a burning resentment started rising in him. He'd given everything, 12 years, no holding back, and for what? It still wasn't enough to beat the cheap thrill they were chasing. This double betrayal cut so deep, it completely drained him of the guts to confront either of them. Broken and bitter, he pulled out his phone and spoke to a love that was already dead, left them one final message. I hope you two are happy. Then, without looking back, he bought a plane ticket and got out of that city as fast as he could. By the time his girlfriend came back to her senses and looked around, he was nowhere to be found. She found his phone on the ground. After listening to the recording, she realized their secret had been exposed the whole time. His disappearance hit her like a bolt of lightning. The sudden emptiness made her break down right then and there. Deep down, she knew better than anyone. She still craved the unconditional love he'd always given her. She just couldn't resist the temptation. She'd wanted some excitement, something new to break up the routine. But even with him gone, she didn't feel real regret. Just annoyed at herself for being so careless. She hadn't been careful enough hiding the affair. And just like that, she lost the safety net she'd always had. They say you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And right now, those words slapped her straight across the face. She ran back to the apartment she'd shared with him, crying the whole way. All she found was an empty room. On the table, neatly laid out, the utility cards and the house key. Frantic, she rushed over to his sister's room next door and pounded on the door like crazy, but there was no answer. Calls wouldn't go through, no sign of her anywhere. She curled up by the door like a zombie, just waiting. It was nearly midnight when his sister finally came home. She immediately rushed up, desperately asking where he'd gone. You're finally back. Your brother's gone. Hearing that he'd actually left for real, she couldn't believe it. In 12 years, they'd never been apart like this. She never thought he'd leave so completely, without a trace. Then the sister came out of her room, dragging a packed suitcase behind her, gripping a letter tightly in her hand. And where are you going? I'm moving in with Xiao Wu. I'm giving up this place. You can't just do that. Who said anything about that? My brother said the same thing. He paid 5 years of rent before he left. Fine, if you both say keep it, then we keep it. But I'm still moving out. I can't stay here, and it doesn't feel right. His sister took the letter he'd left and shoved it into this woman's chest. This, she said coldly, is the last bit of kindness my brother had for you. Why didn't he just leave it in your room? Because he didn't want your new guy to see it and cause a scene. So he specifically asked me to make sure it was just the two of us when I handed it to you. She finished with one last cold line. Figure your life out. Then grabbed her suitcase and walked out without looking back. She stood there holding that letter, so light in her hands, yet heavy as the world. A mess of emotions swirling inside her. Her hands shaking, she tore open the envelope. Every single word inside, cut into her like a blade, slow and precise. The letter was him laying bare his deepest wounds, growing up in the shadow of family violence, the hopelessness of his childhood, and she had been the only light in his life, the only thing that pushed back the darkness. But he never could have imagined. The very light that had pulled him out of that darkness would end up becoming the knife that stabbed him, kicking him back down into a place he might never climb out of. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get back up. At that point, she completely broke down, dropped to the floor and just sobbed. For the first time, she truly hated herself. How could she have thrown away someone who gave her everything? After that, the girl who was once bright and lively was gone. She drifted through her days, quietly paying the price for what she'd done. And that new guy? He was never serious to begin with. He proposed with a random can tab he'd picked up off the ground. When he got bored, he dropped her without a second thought. Only then did she finally wake up and realize just how badly she'd messed up. She'd thrown away the one person who cherished her most. Every day after that was nothing but endless regret. Until one day, she heard through a friend, that her ex, who'd been gone so long, was back in the city. The second she heard, she grabbed onto it like a lifeline and sprinted toward where he was like a woman on fire. All she could think about was looking him in the eyes and apologizing. Maybe, just maybe, there was still a chance to fix things. But when she finally got there gasping for air, what she saw hit her like a sledgehammer, shattering every last hope and sending her into a bottomless despair.